According to the latest statistics, 2 million people have died in the Afghanistan war. 500,000 people have died in the Iraqi war. And 120,000 people have been killed in the Mexican war on drugs, not including 27,000 people who are missing. Wars and more wars, death and more death. According to CNN, the eruptions of violence in Syria may lead to all-out war. Rumors of war. As of last night, there was a 6.9 scale earthquake that hit Chile this past Wednesday. A 6.4 scale earthquake hit Indonesia a week ago today. And a few years ago, a 7.0 earthquake hit Haiti. Over 500,000 people were killed or injured, and 1.3 million people were displaced. Earthquakes in various places. In the Second Congo War from 1998 to 2004, 3.8 million people died, mostly from starvation and disease. In the last year, it is estimated that over 20,000 people in one province in North Korea have died of famine. And West Africa continues to this day to be a place of starvation and illness. Famines. Wars. Rumors of wars. Earthquakes. Famines. What does that tell you? Well, it tells me, as we listen again to the end of our gospel lesson, when you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be alarmed. This must take place, but the end is still to come. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be earthquakes. In various places there will be famines. What does that tell you? Well, let's look at it this way. December 25th, 1814, October 22nd, 1844. February 13th, 1925, February 4th, 1962. March 10th, 1982, October 8th, 1982. September 6th, 1994, March 31st, 1998, January 1st, 2000. April 29, 2007, May 21st, 2011, October 21st, 2011, and October 7th, 2015. What two things do all of these dates have in common? October. October? More than that. One, yeah, I heard it. They were the predictions of the end of the world. Okay? By the Seventh-day Adventists. Gene Dixon, Pat Robinson, Harold Camping, Hal Lindsey, Jerry Falwell, Pat Robinson again, Harold Camping 2 more times, and the E-Bible Fellowship. Now, what is the second thing in common that all those dates have concerning the end of the world?
They're all wrong.
They were wrong! As a matter of fact, this is what I put on my Facebook page after the last prediction. I don't want to brag or anything, but this is like the 5th end of the world I survived. Now, who knows when the end of all things will occur? Prophets? Clergy? Psychics? What about Jesus?
Yeah.
Verse 32. Verse 32 of the same gospel we're in, the same chapter we're in. Mark 13 says this. But about that day or hour, no one knows, Jesus says. Neither the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. Only the Father, only God. Jesus no, prophets no, clergy no, psychics no, no. Only God. Now, what is original sin? I know I just made a severe left turn in the middle of my sermon. I'll get back, don't worry. Bear with me. It was temptation. You remember what it is? Do you remember what the serpent said to Eve? Eat of this fruit, and you will not die, for God knows that when you eat of this, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God. You will be like God. That is original sin. Putting ourselves in God's place. Putting ourselves in God's role. Doing what only God does. But about that day or hour, no one knows. Neither the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. What is trying to set the date of the end times? It is original sin. Where it is trying to take from God what only belongs to God. Now for my second point. When the world looks at us, what does the world see about the church? Well, I think two things. One, the world sees the church as a bunch of losers. Oh look, here come the Christians predicting the end of the world again. Were they right in 1914? No. Were they right in 1844? No. Were they right in 1025, 1963, 1982, 1994? No. Were they right in 1998, 2000, 2007, 2011? No. What about 2020? Well, Gene Dixon claims that Armageddon will take place in 2020 and Jesus will return to defeat the unholy trinity of the Antichrist, Satan, and the false prophet between 2020 and 2037. Well, Dixon previously predicted the world would end on February 4th, 1962. No more of this. No more predictions. No more playing God. And when 2020 rolls around, the only prediction that is sound is that 2021 will follow a year later. That's one view I think the world has of the church. View number two. In his book, They Like Jesus but Not the Church, the author writes, why is it that people on the outside know us only for what we stand against? Think about it. When does the church make the news? When is it suddenly, once again, being reported everywhere? Well, it's when it's against one thing or another. How's the church defined? By what it is against. Homosexuality, gay marriage, abortion, hip-hop. Now hear me clearly. I am not speaking for or against any of these things. But what I'm concerned about is that the church is being defined by what we are against instead of what we are for. Things like, let the little children come to me. And remember the poor and the widows when you gather together. It is time for us to be defined by what we are for, not by what we are against. It's time to reclaim the church for what it is called to be. A place of positive change for good, loving others as Jesus would. A place of peace, not the peace of the world, but the peace that comes from being in a relationship with Jesus Christ, God's Son. That peace which passes all understanding. A place of compassion, a place that truly reflects what Jesus said and did. Care for the poor, care for those who hurt, care for the children, care for those who cannot care for themselves, who have been thrown away by society, who have even given up on themselves, in a place that sees the future with Jesus as one of hope and wonder, care, and love. Take back what the church is called to be. Show the world what the church is called to be. And now live into what the church is called to be today and for all of the tomorrows until Christ's glorious and joyful return. And all God's people said, Amen.